Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. That's our job. That's what we love to do, and thank you so much for watching. This rundown is going out to two people. New member Craig M1R3. I don't know what all of that means, but we do know that you are supporting us, and we are very grateful. Thank you so much. And D9000. Oh my God, I have the same Vancouver Starbucks mug. I have many Starbucks mugs, but I don't have a Vancouver one because I live in Vancouver. That's why I didn't get that, but I do have many Starbucks mugs. Let's get started with your rundown. Harrison Ford isn't getting any younger, but that doesn't mean his younger self can't appear in new movies. Take a look at what the recent movie Solo: A Star Wars Story would have looked like with a digitally de-aged Harrison Ford in the lead role. YouTube channel Derpfakes has posted scenes from the movie with Ford's likeness superimposed over actor Alden Ehrenreich, replacing his face but using his voice and mannerisms. As their name implies, Derpfakes uses deepfake technology where computer AI automatically replaces one face with another using machine learning, similar to face swap apps on your phone. This is much less time-consuming than traditional computer animation or performance capture, which is what Disney and Lucasfilm used to create the younger versions of actors Peter Cushing and Carrie Fisher in Rogue One. Going forward, this kind of technology is only going to get better. It's a little spooky watching all of this, a little creepy, but also cool. You know, it's actually kind of interesting to see these other actors and younger versions of these actors digitally recreated like this so quickly and easily, and then just posted in this cavalier fashion on YouTube. It's crazy. What a world we're in, right? I wonder what Harrison Ford thinks about this. Let's go to him right now. Harrison. Oh yeah, we can't get Harrison Ford on this show. He is a big fan though. No, but seriously, I do think that this kind of de-aging technology, Marvel's been doing it effectively in their movies for a while now, but I think that this is going to be key to us continuing with characters and actors that we really love in their roles, and I believe that it's going to be a big part of celebrity kind of culture and celebrity contracts going forward. I think that Robert Downey Jr. might stay on as Tony Stark for a long time, and they might be starting to de-age him a little bit, or CG him into these pictures. I also believe that Harrison Ford might appear as a younger version of himself in Indiana Jones 5, and I don't think that they're going to recast. I do think that they're going to have an older Harrison Ford kind of doing sort of bookend pieces and talking about adventures, and then we'll have a younger version of Harrison Ford pop up from these time periods that he's going to reflect on, which would be cool if it's handled properly. And clearly the technology exists for people to be able to do this in some pretty convincing ways. So we'll see, and we'll see if the public sort of takes to it. But we're losing Chris Evans as Captain America, and it's pretty hard to think of anybody else being Steve Rogers, and I don't think that it's because he's too old to play the part. I think his contract is up or whatever, but there is this element of people saying, okay, well, it's time for me to retire and pass on these roles, when I think when it comes to, some of these crazy comic book creations like, Captain America or Iron Man, where we've watched these characters be the same person for years in the comic books, I don't think it's that much of a stretch to think that the audience members out there would mind sticking with CG versions of actors, for years and years and possibly decades to come. But, we're crossing into some new philosophical boundaries here for sure. It's definitely very interesting days. Basically, we're turning actors into robotic performances, and what's to stop us from bringing back long dead actors and putting them into new movies like James Dean or something like that? Crazy. What a world. There's a new and very cool way to replay classic Sega games. Analog, the company behind last year's Super NT retro Nintendo console, have announced that they're doing the same thing for Sega. They've unveiled the Mega SG, a retro console that will play original games from both the 8-bit Sega Master System and the 16-bit Sega Genesis. Unlike most other retro systems, it won't be emulating games. It instead runs games off their original Master System and Genesis cartridges, meaning they'll look and feel exactly the same. The Analog Super NT was received favorably when it was released last year, so hopefully the Mega SG will live up to the hype. It begins shipping in April 2019. I think this is great. I have huge collections of cartridges, and in fact, when I was reading up on this story yesterday, I said, you know what, I really want to have some awesome hardware for all the Super Super Nintendo cartridges that I have. So it's not cheap, but I actually press that buy button and I pick myself up and I end the show up one of the analog Super NTs, because those are available, and we'll test that out when it comes in, hopefully soon, and we'll plug some Super Nintendo cartridges in there and we'll check it out. But this is cool. I mean, I think that there is going to be a huge aftermarket for physical. I've said this many times, as we move more and more into digital, I think that there will be boutique video game stores that will flourish in the face of all of our lack of collecting or ability to collect video games going forward in physical form, and they will offer up vast collections of cartridges and CD-ROM based software, and probably some companies will get into we already have limited run games and things like that, but I think that will also be a new element of future business as well. People will start to do smaller batches of old classic cartridges and smaller batches of old CD-ROM based games or Blu-ray based games. As we get into this kind of streaming inevitability that we're all sort of driving fast into. All right, Sean Bean has died in pretty much every movie and TV show he's been in, and apparently the same rule will apply to video games. You'll be able to assassinate the famed British actor in the new game, Hitman 2. We already knew Sean Bean would be involved in the game after he narrated the first trailer released earlier this year, and now developer IO Interactive has announced that he'll appear in the game itself as the first elusive target. Players will be able to hunt him down in Miami and hopefully make the death as interesting as all the different ways he's died in movies, but don't expect it to be too easy, because Sean Bean will be waiting for you. The last Hitman game had celebrity targets like Gary Busey, and there's no telling who else IO might get for the new game. Hitman 2 arrives November 13th, and the Sean Bean elusive target mission drops a week after that. This is so morbid. I'm a big fan of Sean Bean. I think the guy is incredible, and I think it's going to be pretty fun to see how IO has incorporated his performance and his likeness and all that stuff, and what kinds of crazy ways we'll be able to do the deed of wiping him out. I'm really hyped for Hitman 2. I'm a big fan of what IO did with Hitman 1, the episodic stuff. They really built a really solid engine there, and I'm so happy that they didn't go down in a blaze of glory when Square Enix said, no, we don't want to do this stuff anymore, and they gave them back the rights. So I'm super psyched to see what they do. I had a blast playing Hitman 2's demo at E3, and I'm very fired up to play this. Red Dead Redemption 2, I'll have already played a lot of it. I probably won't have finished it, but I will be ready for Hitman 2 when it comes out in November 13th. Can't wait. Speaking of Red Dead Redemption 2, it's almost here, but you might need to clear some space on your hard drive. Rockstar Games has announced that players will be able to start preloading the new game this Friday, a week before its official launch. You won't be able to start playing the game until next week, but this means you'll be able to get it installed and ready to go so you don't waste any time on launch day. As for how much space you'll need, various retailers have claimed that downloading the game will take up to 105 gigabytes on the PlayStation 4, but more recently, the official Microsoft Store claims that it will only take up 90 gigabytes only. Rockstar has yet to officially confirm the file size, but either way, this game is going to be big. If you read the Vulture and I think the New Yorker story that Harold Goldberg put together when he interviewed Dan Houser, famously, who said everybody was working 100-hour work weeks and it's all come down in a wrath of fire around the internet. A lot of developers are not happy about that. But one of the things that they did say is that every NPC has like a 200-page story in script form, and so there is tons and tons of performance capture and dialogue in this game. Every character has meaning in this title, so it's incredibly ambitious. No wonder it's taken so long for this thing to come out, and it's no wonder why they delayed it into 2018. I am so fired up to play this. I am a little bit torn up because I agree with the people that are out there that are rightly angry that developers were asked or expected to work so much to get this done. I think that is an abuse of these creators, and it's not fair to them. And for people that are so handily accept working 100 hours and will just show up because they're so fired up, it sets this precedence, and it normalizes it for other people out there who have families and health and other things that they need to take care of besides just working all the time. The one thing that I can tell you as a person that has worked very hard for a very long time, and sometimes I put in 100-hour work weeks for sure. But I can tell you from this place of some wisdom is that work is a part of life. It is not the only thing in life. You know, you need to fill yourself with lots and lots of other things, and you know, this is a good lesson for all of us, whatever job you have. 100 hours a week committed to your job is not a healthy thing. You need to work on your relationships, you need to work on your friendships, and you need to work on your health and being outside. And it can't just be about one singular thing. Don't just be sitting on your butt all the time. And this applies to video games as well. I've said this a lot too. I'd go nuts if I only talked about video games. I love games, I love movies, I love comics, I love being outside. It's all part and parcel. And it's interesting that a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, which really celebrates the idea of a couple things, the artistic sort of aspirational elements of the medium of video games, but also exploring the great outdoors in the Wild West, you know, and the beauty of nature as exemplified by the art of this game, is also something that makes us stop and think, yeah, you know what, we need to balance. We need to find some kind of way to enjoy all of the bounty that life provides, you know, and a big chunk of it is outside, unfortunately, not playing Red Dead Redemption 2 or making it. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for our rundown today. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new EP live for you. In the meantime, make sure you check out all the other content that we've been making. Get caught up on all of our stuff. If you dig it, hit subscribe, hit that little bell. If you're so inclined, you can join up and become an EPN member. And don't forget, we have a merch page on our website. It's epn.tv/merch, and it will link you to all of the different options that you can have for picking up some EPN merch, like this awesome hoodie from Designed by Humans. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have yourselves a great day and play forever.